Margot? Today we are joined by a guest. And now she's gone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wendy, and today's video is going to be about college advice. I realized that I start my first day of graduate school a week from today, so September 2nd is when I begin. As you can see, I have my new sweatshirt on. I love this. I can't stop wearing it even though it's like really hot and humid out. I want to try to keep my advice helpful to everyone, not super like major specific. This is my roommate Allison, her cat Margot. Margot! Oh, no, she hates me. First piece of academic like school advice, and it's gonna sound really plain and boring and like a very like duh piece of advice, but it's to go to class. Because in high school, people are paying attention to your attendance. Like your parents are on top of you and your teachers care. Obviously, if you're just now leaving high school, it's like great to have that new freedom in college, like no one's keeping tabs on you, but at the same time, college is expensive. Hey, you terrify me. You're terrifying. I was just interrupted, as you might have seen, by Margot trying to tear up my notes. College is expensive, and if you're like an average normal student, you're probably getting financial help from your parents. And I remember I did the math with my mom one day, and to go to like an in-state school in Colorado with my scholarship, it was like $100 a day. So my mom had this saying that she would use on me and be like, get your $100 a day, because if you only have 1 or 2 classes, it's really easy to not go because you're like, well, no one's holding me to it. And for a lot of classes, they don't take attendance or they don't have any participation points that are kind of like encouraging you to go. So seems really simple, but go to class because obviously you're there to get an education, you're paying to be there, all of those things. It's just like very easy to not go. And once you do that, I find it's really easy to get into the habit of just skipping lectures like left and right. And then you're behind, and then it's the end of the semester before you know it. So second piece of advice, another really simple one, is to go to office hours. And this is mostly something I would encourage you to do freshman year, but I think the overarching like advice I would give is try to have a relationship with your professors, especially the ones that are in your department. If you're lucky enough to know what it is you want to major in your freshman year and you're like set for 4 years, then you have a good chance of having professors all 4 years that you might get to know. But if you don't figure out your major or don't declare till like sophomore or like junior year, I don't know if you can even declare that late, it's really important to like make it a point to get to know your professors, make sure that they know you so that when you email or like call them with questions, they like can put a face to your name. I found this to be really helpful. My senior semester, I did a thesis because I was in CSU's honors program, and we needed to pick a professor to be our advisor for our thesis project to like oversee it. And then we needed a community member, which could be someone in the community or a staff member. I actually only had like 2 or 3 professors in my department that I felt comfortable asking, and one of them had turned down my idea, so it was a real blow to like my like perception of my relationship to that teacher. I was like, oh no, like I don't have any teachers to ask. And the teacher that turned down my idea actually recommended me to the woman that actually became my advisor, and she never was my professor. I hadn't taken any of her classes, but we ended up having a really good relationship. I had a great thesis project. I got super lucky, but I realized junior or senior year that I didn't have that many teachers to use for recommendations for jobs or just for applying to graduate school. So definitely make that a priority once you're in your major and you know like that's the direction you're headed. Just like kind of pay attention to the teachers that you like and the teachers that like you. Just kind of thinking long term there. It's always good to be close to professors because they can kind of help you make connections, find jobs, and serve as recommendations. Obviously, that's not the whole point. It's just nice to get to know professors and teachers and kind of have people to mentor you throughout like your time at college. But that is something that I would have maybe done a little differently if I could go back and do it again, or that I intend to do during graduate school, is make those connections with professors, because I don't know, I just really like teachers. I've always been a teacher's pet, and I think it's important to like go outside of your comfort zone if you're not super comfortable making those bonds with older teachers. And then my last piece of advice for academic like school stuff, try to pay attention to classes that you spend all of your time focusing on getting an A and just getting through versus classes that you take that are truly interesting to you, that you want to like learn and get an A for because it interests you. I was a health and exercise science major at CSU. I should have mentioned that. If you've seen any of my other college videos, I like have a whole like experience at CSU and like my experience doing marching band throughout college, so you guys should check those out if you're interested. I took some science classes that were brutal and I did not like them, and the whole point, like every week that I did homework, that I studied, for me it was just to finish the class and get an A. I just wanted to get out of there because they were hard and I didn't really find them to be interesting. I noticed probably around junior, senior year, when I was finally getting into like specialty classes in my major, that I far enjoyed the classes that I was interested in, not just to get an A, but because the subject material meant something to me. So for example, I am really interested in prevention of chronic disease because it runs in my family. And I'm also really interested in like health, nutrition, exercise, stuff like that. But if I am to take a class on that topic, like prevention of chronic disease or just chronic disease in general, that really interests me. It like is something I am paying attention to like my whole life. I have been for like the past 5 years. So I can tell that that's something I would like to spend my time on in the future. And that really helped give me direction to like find my, I wouldn't say career path because I don't have my like career picked out yet per se, but definitely the field and area of interest that I want to pursue. That became more clear to me when I noticed there are classes that I like to take because the subject interested me, not just because they were required to graduate. Now onto the fun stuff. Second section is social stuff, and again, I don't really know how much of this will apply to you if you are going to college currently, given the pandemic. Make the best of your living situation. I lived in a dorm my freshman year, and I got randomly paired with this girl named Sasha. She's been in some of my vlogs, and we had both filled out like questionnaires about like what our ideal roommates like, and we got put together and we were like best friends like from the get-go. I lived with her all 4 years. After the dorms, we lived in an apartment. It was like best case scenario. But that freshman year, we definitely did have like our highs and lows. We had uncomfortable moments where we had to confront each other with stuff that was bothering us, or just like little stuff, like living together stuff that you get to sort out with most times a complete stranger. Just try to make friends with your roommate if you can. Obviously, if it's been a month or two and it's a terrible time living with a certain person, I know that the RAs can be helpful in like relocating people or rematching roommates. I know that's a possibility. It's a huge pain in the butt to have to move out of your dorm into a new room, but if you've given it time and effort and nothing seems to be working out, I would definitely look into your options instead of being like miserable in a dorm for your first year because you're uncomfortable with your roommate. If you're living at home, I would say, obviously, because you won't be assigned a roommate, try to like join clubs and talk to your classmates, like ask people if they want to study or get coffee. If you have a nice conversation with someone, just try to make the best at socializing, even if you aren't able to because you live at home. Again, I don't really know what the dorm socialization aspect will look like given the COVID situation. It's like totally unfamiliar to me. I went to college, I did my undergrad from 2015 to 2018, so I was really lucky to get out of there before all of this stuff like happened. But anyway, the second thing I would say in regards to socializing is to try to make the most of your time in college, because you're only in college once, but you need to find that like work school life balance, and I think that takes a while. In my instance, sophomore junior year, I started to see my boyfriend Nick, and I again had to kind of readjust and re-examine like what I was prioritizing and like, okay, how to have a boyfriend, prioritize school, still attend marching band, still see all my friends, and it's different for everyone. I think college is a really important time to learn how to say no and also how to say yes. Like if you have a new opportunity presented to you that looks fun, you should say yes. You just have to make sure that you put in the work later to compensate for maybe like putting off schoolwork. But I also think it's a good time to learn how to say no, in that you're gonna have your friends and partners and whatever pressuring you to join them to like hang out all the time, and it's really hard to say no because I feel like bad peer pressure is when people are always like, oh, you're such a party pooper, or you never come out. I think I got that a couple times because I can definitely like enjoy a lazy night in most weekends. But I think it's important to remember that it is your experience and your 4 years of college, and you get to decide how you spend them. Like no one else gets to. And if people are pressuring you into like going out and they don't understand that you have other priorities, maybe they're not the best friends to you, or maybe they're just not being super understanding. So definitely try to make the most of your experience in college. Try new things, go out of your comfort zone, say yes and learn how to say yes, but also at the same time learn how to say no and learn how to find that balance between social life and school obligations, and work if you happen to have a job during college. And the last piece of advice for like the social subject, I'm sorry if this video is long, I'm trying to keep it concise, is college is about finding yourself and prioritizing yourself. So just remember that what other people think of you is more of a reflection of themselves than it is you, and that you need to do what's best for you. So what I mean by that is college is such like a freeing time to get to like experiment with your style, your music taste, like find like your group of friends, like where you fit comfortably, or if you enjoy being alone, you can explore nature, you can try different food, you can just do so much more than you could before. You have so much more independence, and with that of course comes more responsibility. But I think that I found in college, I worried a lot about what other people thought of me. I wanted everyone to like me, and that's just not possible. And once you realize that and accept that, the world becomes so much more of your oyster, because you're able to do what you want when you want and like fully enjoy that without feeling like pressured to please other people or get the approval of others. You can just do what it is that you want to do, and yeah, it feels good to be free from other people's judgment. And I feel like that's most difficult freshman year. That is just my piece of advice, because I feel like a much freer person going into graduate school. Like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me, I just do what I do. I definitely still enjoy the approval of my close friends and family. Like, I like when people like me, that's obviously a great feeling, but I'm kind of done being like embarrassed by myself or like letting people make me feel bad about like what I like or who I hang out with. I'm just like, nope, like this is what I want. I choose who I keep in my life, and I choose how I spend my time, and it's just really liberating. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. You should subscribe, follow me on Instagram. If this was helpful to you, let me know in the comments down below. I intend to do more like college videos, but they're gonna pertain now in the future towards graduate school, because obviously I am done with my undergraduate. I was really grateful to go to Colorado State University, but now on to Boston University. So you guys should subscribe for, I love this sweatshirt, I'm sorry I can't. Subscribe for future content like that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.